Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Y'all already know the rules. When you come in my house, take off them shoes and super violate that like button. Now, a lot of people got a lot of mixed emotions about Trump with this death sentence policy for those who sell drugs. A lot of us in the hood has tampered with and experimented with selling drugs in the hood. Me, myself, I had my time of experimenting with being a drug dealer. The truth be told, that was something that was never me. That was Terrence. Terrence was the drug dealer. I was the enforcer. Never did I feel comfortable within my skin being a drug dealer, selling dope, pushing crack. I never felt comfortable. I always felt like I was dishonoring myself because I hated the fact that my father was a dope fiend. I hated the fact that my father was a dope fiend. And shout out to my dad for overcoming his fight with heroin and beating that drug. Now, just recently, my father's childhood friend, someone I used to call Uncle D, Uncle Dow, and it's crazy to get that phone call and hear that he OD'd. And lately, all of the cases of people ODing off of heroin because of the fentanyl or whatever else is in it, never in my life have I seen so many people dying of drug abuse. Maybe it's because of the internet. Maybe it's because of the increase of fentanyl. But when you sell somebody what they call a bad batch of dope, or maybe it's a good batch because when dope fiends hear that somebody died on that dope, they all run to get that bag and that brand. They want it. Yeah, it's psychotic. But when you sell somebody something that kills them, it's a death sentence. A mother loses their child. A father loses their child. A child loses their parent. We should have never felt comfortable selling drugs in a community. And you know what? It's amazing. I said it's crazy how God works, because I was already going to do this story, and I woke up to the news. And this is a story that hit New York very, very hard, of what drugs do to our community.
Also developing tonight, a former daycare owner in the Bronx sentenced to 45 years in prison after pleading guilty to several drug charges.
That's right. The charges stem from the death of a 1-year-old who was exposed to fentanyl at the daycare. Fox 5's Arthur Chen is live outside federal court in Lower Manhattan, where her sentence was handed down. Arthur.
Steve, Natasha, the woman's name is Gray Mendez. She was the woman who basically was the head of that Bronx daycare where all of this unfolded. She was just sentenced to 45 years in prison, as you said. Now, this is a case that horrified New Yorkers who learned of it as it unfolded. And in fact, it horrified anybody who heard about what happened at that daycare in the Bronx. Now, immediately following the sentencing, the parents of the one-year-old boy who was killed spoke. Their heartbreak appeared to be as raw as when this all came to light 2 years ago. Their son, just 22 years old, Nicholas Dominici, died after he and 3 others were exposed to fentanyl. This according to court papers, which said the daycare that was entrusted with protecting them, the Vino Nino, actually was functioning as a secret stash house where fentanyl and heroin was prepared for distribution on a regular basis. Investigators even found a kilo-sized brick of fentanyl inside a closet of the daycare facility, in addition to other equipment used for drug smuggling. Now, Gray Mendez was accused of calling her husband multiple times, allegedly to clear the drugs, while waiting before calling 911, even as the 4 very young children were severely overdosing. And by the time help arrived, it was too late for Nicholas. Right after this sentencing, Nicholas's parents spoke in an emotional press conference, drawing a painful distinction between receiving justice in a court of law and receiving justice in life. To make sure we get it right, our own Stephanie Bertini translates for us.
Nicholas is not going to come back ever. In one way there was justice, and now I want divine justice. I'm waiting for her to pay. I wish Nicholas was coming back, but he's not.
Separately, Mendez's husband has already been sentenced also to 45 years in federal prison in connection with this case. One would hope that this allows Nicholas's family to start a new chapter, but hearing the pain in their voices today, it's hard to imagine that starting anytime soon. We're live at the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Arthur Chian, Fox 5 News. Steve, Natasha.
Yeah, so terrible. All right. Thanks, Arthur.
The pain that's caused the families, you know, in our era, these quote-unquote real niggas, they don't care about the hurt that they do. They don't care about the hurt that they cause the family. Here we get a glimpse of a family of a mother that was robbed of her child, took a child to the daycare. But I guess they thought they was Tasha from Tasha from Power, playing the role of Ghost, hiding drugs, fentanyl in the daycare. The baby's eating it. The baby passes away. And the court says guilty. 45 years. See, in the hood, when our parents go through this and they OD, we don't get a chance most of the time to get justice. For some of us, like me, with my father, I can't really get justice for what dudes did to him. But in today's time, I'm just keeping it all the way funky. Drugs is something that should have never been accepted in the black community. Drugs is something that should have never been accepted in the black community. And now that we are getting fair warning, because I don't want to see none of my brothers that used to sell dope die in today's time. They did their time. A lot of my brothers did their time. They coming home from jail. Some of them still in jail. They doing their time. But today, in today's time, Trump is giving us fair warning. Warning, warning, warning. And personally, I don't care if he start with the higher ups or the ones at the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we here. You know, the ones that started from the bottom and their goal is to reach the level of Big Meech. You got to understand something. In order to reach the level of Big Meech, the nigga that everybody's talking about all over the internet, on one side calling him a rat, on the other side praising him because of the TV show they gave him for dealing drugs in the black community. You already know my slogan, lock him up. Nah, I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with the fact that the young boys in the hood is bodying each other. They playing laser tag with each other. They airing each other out in the hood. And you know why they airing each other out? Now, let me take this jacket off. You know why they airing each other out in the hood? Because hurt people hurt people. And them young dudes that's in the jail, and them young dudes that's out in the street that's hurting, you know what it's like to be raised by a crackhead? You know what it's like to be raised by a father or a mother that's on dope with fentanyl in it, and you thinking they always sleeping, but they really got the dope man's lean and they leaned out, and you always tapping them like, Ma, Dad, wake up. You know what it's like to grow up in foster care? You know what it's like to grow up in foster care? And your grandmother have to come get you out of the system? Because daddy ain't there and mommy ain't there? Because of the game? That's why I tell them young boys, y'all out there scoring points on each other. Nah, them OGs that came home from jail, like Big Meech, proud because they done gave y'all the fentanyl. And 50 Cent, they gave them the TV show to honor them, but they want to dishonor them for being a rat. Now, don't dishonor them for being a rat. Honor them for the destruction that you caused in the community. You know, that the hurt, that pain. Now, these kids is walking around outside, teenagers, angry. They don't know how to channel their energy. So we got babies outside killing babies because they don't know how to deal with the adults. But I tell them all the time, don't take your anger out on that young boy that look just like you that's hurting. Y'all gotta go make the people that answer, well, the people, them dudes coming home from jail, like Big Meech, the drug kingpins, there's the problem. That's where your anger should be aimed towards. See, thankfully, with Trump now, with that death sentence, it needs to be that ugly. It needs to be that serious. Where you actually think that you could sell drugs in the black community when Trump comes and he pushes the law, the Cape Crusaders, to put you on TV and show your punishment, whether it be the electric chair, whether it be the gas chamber, whether it be the firing squad of an army. Then we will look at each other and see the ugliness. Because sometimes fear has to be a factor. Fear has to be a factor. Because we think that it's okay to sell poverty and pain, aka dope, to each other's mothers, brothers, sisters, cousins, in order for us to get some new shoes. Y'all wasn't even trying to get the land back. You had broke people trying to impress broke people on Saturday night. Our parents, our children, our family members became a casualty of war, of the dope game. Do I stand with President Trump in his decision to give a death sentence to those who sell drugs? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's my take on this situation. Rest in peace to that young child, and my prayers goes out to the parents. See, this one ain't a hard one. It ain't a hard pill to swallow. Just imagine if all those dudes out there that's selling dope decided to be in construction. Huh? Imagine if you put the time in to be a carpenter. Imagine how many of us would have became Donald Trumps and had Trump Towers. Imagine those of us that was in the game that actually made money in the game. Imagine if we actually went and bought back the land that was taken from us and then built something on it. You know that bull crap story niggas be telling? I was just in the game trying to feed my family. No, you wasn't. None of you niggas got your parents out of the hood. No, you wasn't. None of y'all ain't get y'all parents out of the hood. Most of the time when these dudes get locked up, they can't even show you what they did with the money. And that's the worst part about it. It is what it is. That's my take on the situation. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and pay attention to your circle before they hurt you. If you watched this video this far, I want you to go to the comment section. I want to know what town, what city, what state you from, and how old you are. I'm trying to figure out, I'm doing a survey on where I got the most people at, what town I want to touch down on first when I do my meet and greet. Because it's time for me to take my show on the road. It is what it is. Stay tuned for another video coming back to back tonight. I'm out. Drop your location in the hood. Drop your age in the hood. Drop your location in the comment section. Drop your age in the comment section.